Hey guys, and welcome to Relationship Chronicles. Today we have a cheating revenge story from one of my subscribers that I will walk you through with, and afterwards I'll give my opinion and advice to this subscriber on how to deal with this situation. Here we go. In today's video, if we're forcing my ex-wife to take our daughter to the ER, myself, and my ex share custody of both our children legal and physical, we don't get along and really only interact when it comes to dealing with our children. Our trip to the ER costs us nothing because of my job. 2 days ago, my ex was telling me about how our daughter has an ear infection, and it was slightly bad due to it leaking, and that she was going to give her eardrops when she picked them up. Last night, she messaged me again with a picture of our daughter's ear was dried blood on an inset. Her ear got significantly worse. I told her that she needs to schedule an appointment to get it checked ASAP. And she said yes, she will call first thing tomorrow. I asked if it was purely blood coming out of her ear, and she said yes and showed me another picture. I told her to take her last night to the ER to get her checked instead. I even offered to take her myself so that our son could sleep and she didn't have to stay up late with our daughter. She said that she was not going to take her because she had just put her down and that the ER can't do anything beside provide meds. I asserted that if blood's coming out, that she shouldn't be sleeping on it, especially on an ear infection, because it could get worse. She refused to take her in again, and I told her to at least call the advice line so that I would feel better about it if a medical professional gave their 2 cents. She said fine, and I said I will call myself my ex lies quite a bit. She got mad and told me to stop, and said that I was undermining her parenting and judgment. And then she told me only because she felt like it would change a different appointment she had for the week. She said that our daughter was good for the night. But the doctor I was on the phone with said to bring her in because bleeding from the ear could mean a ruptured eardrum, and it should be checked to make sure there wasn't a bigger issue that could cause hearing loss. I told her and she said, "Kay." I asked her what time she was going to the ER and let me know so I can attend, and she basically told me she will update me and she will go when her partner is home, and then I don't need to be there. I had a feeling she was lying to me. So I reached out to her partner and told her what was going on, and she said that we're going to take her first thing tomorrow and understands where I'm coming from. But she asked my reason for going that night. I told her what the doctor said, and she said she talked to my accent almost her convinced to go. The ER, she finally convinced her by telling her to be cordial with me, and we both attended the ER. By the end of the night, my daughter had a small rupture in her eardrum, but she was able to continue with the eardrops and to come back. If it's worse, then they removed all the fresh blood. Before we continue, please like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. After the doctor left the room, my ex-wife went off and kept saying she was right all along, and then I wasted her time, and that undermined her parenting and kept repeating she was right at it. Since I saw a few comments about it, she has tubes in her ears and is supposed to get them replaced and have her adenoids removed too. But as my ex put it, it's weird that her ear is this bad because it's her good ear. Edit to sorry, you guys are commenting faster than I keep up, and maybe it's easier to address things here. Keep in mind, I'm not trying to bust the rules here and get my account banned. But I've been documenting for a while because this is just one of the many things that occurs from my ex. I even have a recorder for non-text conversations. One-party consent stay. I've been trying to build a case. But getting sole custody is a very difficult thing to do, especially as a father. In regards to why we don't get along, it's because I've refused to budge on a lot of her requests and helping her out when she asks for it, because I can't keep dropping my work and my activities to help at every request. And it is a lot of requests, almost all of them last minute. The only times I dropped stuff is for emergencies. As for the lawyer stuff, I was already planning to do it in August, but after the ER issue, I made the decision to go forward sooner than later. I say sooner because everything costs money. As soon as I can pay the retainer, which is soon, I will get the ball rolling. The reason why I don't barge to her house and take my daughter to the ER is it'll be first looked at trespassing and harassment. Then if I'm in legal trouble, I could kiss my custody chances goodbye or make it that much harder. Update 1. My lawyer said it has to be clear and dangerous, meant to go to court earlier than later. So I have to wait until I find out where I'm moving to next. It'll be a bit for my next update. Thanks for the support. AITA and TA. I'm sorry, who wouldn't immediately take their child to the ER when they're bleeding out their ear? I have always been told that is a huge sign of something bad. I'm glad it wasn't something huge this time, but your ex-wife has something else. Good luck with your court case, and a blood coming from the ears an ER visit that shouldn't be up for debate. Info. Is your wife a doctor? Enta, if she isn't, she just had a look. Yes. No, my ex-wife is not a doctor. She said it's happened before and there weren't issues last time. It's happened before. I don't have kids, but was one of several kids and have nibblings and none of us ever blued from the ear. Has she talked to an MD about why this keeps happening? Enta VTW, you were both right, but she was being a total off. It was more serious than just an ear infection, even though it wasn't something leading to hearing loss. I'm mystified by a parent with means who has a kid bleeding from the urine. Says, oh, it's probably nothing. She was more invested in being right than in her kid's welfare. So she has tubes and she's supposed to get them replaced and her adenoids removed. We've been working with this for a while, and hopefully after surgery there will be improvement. Are you considering challenging custody after she blatantly ignored a medical issue that part and an ongoing thing and could have been a sign of a getting worse? Your problems are painful. She was bleeding from her ear and your ex wanted to wait it out. A small rupture can become an issue if it doesn't receive medical attention. Chronic ear infections can lead to ruptured eardrums quite quickly. I've had it occur several times in my lifetime. One occasion I went to the doctor complaining of an ear infection. He checked it out, said it was fine and not red or inflamed. Returned that afternoon because the eardrum had ruptured and was leaking blood and depose. If it were my child, I would take them to the doctor as soon as possible. If it's myself at this stage, it's PR for the course. It's happened before and there weren't any issues. So your kid just semi-regularly bleeds from the ear and she just lets them sleep it off. According to the parenting agreement/divorce decree, do you have final say in medical decisions? If not, you need to get a lawyer and get that changed. Your ex clearly has very poor judgment in this regard. Well, the second time that X has admitted to, and that's the second time the glue here has gotten bad enough to cause a rupture, which means it's quite possibly happened multiple times and or gone on for weeks or months without causing a rupture. Throughout my childhood, my sister had regular G infections. Grommets had set hers, was bad enough that even with grommets, she still had ruptured drums on several occasions. Unfortunately, her son was also very prone to that. However, since she knew what to look out for, he was always carefully monitored and treated. I used to think that I had been lucky and missed all that drama. But while rereading about glue here to ensure I was giving the right info in this post, I discovered that it's also pretty common for kids, particularly in certain ethnicities, to have low-level glue year that doesn't cause any discomfort or ruptured drums and so isn't identified or treated. And if it continues into adulthood, it can become a common cause of tinnitus and hearing loss in adults. And what I know, I've had tinnitus most of my adult life despite always being very careful to avoid loud noise and has significant hearing loss as well. And my eustachian tubies are frequently blocked even now. So yep, I've probably had low-level G all my life, and even though it's never been bad enough to be diagnosed, it's caused permanent hearing damage. Frown. Yay. And TA. I remember this when I was a child. I had a really bad ear infection, and every time I moved my head, it would make this horrible clicking sound in my ear. I was crying non-stop, so my mom took me to the emergency room. They said I just needed some aspirin and I'd be fine. That night, I kept my parents up all night, and about 4:30 in the morning, both my parents were up in the kitchen and I walked out. I remember my mother screaming at the top of her lungs because I had blood streaming down the side of my head. My eardrum had ruptured during the night. Let's move on to my thoughts and advice for the person that is dealing with this problem. In this situation, prioritizing a child's health is paramount. The ex-wife's reluctance to take immediate action when their daughter's ear was bleeding and potentially ruptured showed a concerning lack of urgency. Regardless of personal differences, the well-being of the child should supersede any disputes. Seeking prompt medical attention was essential, and the insistence on delaying care was irresponsible. It's a reminder of the importance of effective co-parenting, especially in urgent situations involving a child's health. I wish you the best of luck moving forward. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to today's stories. If you enjoyed listening, please feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, comment below with your thoughts on what happened. Take care.